This week's vocabulary story is Timimoto, a tale from Japan. Once upon a time, in Japan, there lived an old man and an old woman. They were humble people who were very happy with what little they had. They only wished for one thing. A humble person does not think he or she is better than anyone else or more important than anyone else. "I wish we had a child," said the woman to her husband. "I would like to have a little boy, even if he were no bigger than my finger." On that very day, as the old woman went to fetch water, she heard crying. She looked in the grass, and there lay a tiny baby, only 1 inch long. He was so very little. He was wrapped only in a red handkerchief. The old woman was overjoyed as she took the baby home. She and her husband loved the baby dearly. They named him Timimoto. Time passed and Timimoto grew, but not very much. When he was 5 years old, he was as big as his mother's thumb. At age 15, he was only as tall as her middle finger. One morning, Timimoto said, "I am going on a journey to see the world, but do not worry because I will return safely." Timimoto was so small, his parents worried about him traveling. They did not want to permit him to go. When parents permit their child to do something, they allow their child to do it. But they knew he was a clever boy and that the trip would make him happy, so they decided it would be all right. "You will need it to protect yourself from danger," said his mother. She tied a sewing needle to his belt to use as a sword. "You need a way to travel," said his father. So he took a rice bowl and a chopstick from the cupboard. He gave them to Timimoto to use as a boat and a paddle. "Be safe and stay away from the night giant who lives on the other side of the river," his parents warned him. Then they said goodbye and watched as Timimoto paddled down the river. It was not easy being a tiny boy in a rice bowl, all alone in the middle of the river. But although he was tiny, Timimoto was strong and brave. As he was paddling along, Timimoto felt something slap him across his back. Turning around, he saw a giant green frog. The frog's long tongue lashed out at Timimoto again. What a predicament he was in! A predicament is a difficult situation. The frog thought he was an insect to eat. Then Timimoto poked the frog with his chopstick and the frog dove out of sight. Soon after, the winds blew stronger and the waves got higher. One wave splashed over the bowl and almost tipped it upside down. The river was too rough. The only solution to his problem was to go ashore, and that is what Timimoto did. When you have a solution, it is the answer to or how to fix a problem. Timimoto got to the riverbank and climbed out of his boat. He noticed that all people on the shore were running. He jumped onto a cart so he wouldn't be crushed. The man driving the cart saw Timimoto. "Ho, little one, you must be new to town. Don't you know that a terrible giant comes when the sun sets?" "He must be the mean, terrible night giant," thought Timimoto. Soon all of the people were in their houses and the streets were empty. No one in the village would dare to be out on the streets after the sun went down. When someone dares you to do something, you are brave enough to try or do it. Timimoto was all alone. Then he heard the earth rumble. He looked up and saw an enormous giant standing over him. The giant's huge, strong fingers wrapped around him, and Timimoto was lifted high into the air. "Aha! A nice bit of food for me to eat," roared the giant. He popped Timimoto in his mouth. Just then, Timimoto pulled out his sword and stabbed the giant's cheek. "Ah!" screamed the giant. Timimoto leapt out of the giant's mouth to the ground. The giant ran into the forest, crying that he would never return. Timimoto heard cheering all around him as people poured out of their houses. "You have defeated the night giant," they cheered. All night long, the people feasted and danced to celebrate. When the sun came up, they went to the dock with Timimoto. He climbed into his little boat, waved goodbye, and paddled all the way home.